Eighth grade. My little brother Jesse stole 20 bucks from Mrs. Henderson next door. Dad backhanded me so hard my ears rang. You take it? I shook my head. He hit me again. Sharp across the other cheek. Don't you lie to me, girl. I kept shaking my head. And he kept hitting. Until my face swelled and my lips split. Get over there and apologize to Mrs. Henderson right now. Then Mrs. Henderson's boy dug a crisp $20 bill right out of Jesse's pocket. Dad's face melted into a sheepish grin. Like nothing had happened. Boys will be boys, he said. He don't know no better. Mom pulled me aside later. Her voice soft and pleading. Go say you're sorry to your daddy. He feels bad enough about getting it wrong. You know that. That same night, I stuffed my backpack with clothes and my school books and walked 12 miles of mountain road, dark as pitch, all the way to Mima's house. Mom and Mima hated each other. Said Mima skipped their wedding just to play bingo with her friends. The red paint on her front door had faded to pale pink. I banged on the wood for 10 minutes in the cold before I heard footsteps inside. She opened the door and stood in the threshold, blocking the way. What you want? To work, I said. In the garden. She huffed, looked me up and down like I was a stray dog, then stepped aside. Didn't ask why I was there. 10 minutes later, she set a bowl of chili and cornbread down in front of me. Eat, then get out. I stared at the bowl, my throat tight. I don't want to go back. She snorted. Where's your mama and daddy? I didn't answer. She glanced at me, sharp as a tack. Just another useless girl. Same as your mama. I shoveled the chili down as fast as I could, tears dripping into the bowl. The night pressed in around me, dark and endless. I couldn't see the road ahead. I couldn't see anything but the dark. Next morning, she drove me to school in her beat-up pickup. That useless girl, talk didn't stop her. Read all you can, she said, handing me a crumpled dollar bill for lunch. Don't end up stupid like your mama. I stood there holding that dollar, watching her limp back to the truck until she turned the corner and was gone. Mom was stupid. That much was true. She cooked. She cleaned. She did all the laundry. She drove Jesse to school and picked him up every single day. Same thing, over and over. I was the only one who ever helped her. Dad? He did nothing. Came home from the factory every night to a hot meal on the table. Jesse was the golden boy. Mom said boys didn't belong in the kitchen, said it brought bad luck. Every Wednesday night we had fried chicken for dinner. Dad and Jesse each got a whole drumstick. Mom piled all the mushy green beans on my plate, the ones nobody else wanted. Eat up, she said. All sweet. Mama's good to you, ain't she? You gonna take care of me when you're grown, right? I stared at Dad's drumstick. Gone in 3 bites. Mom, can I have a drumstick too? Her whole face turned hard. Just like that. You ungrateful little thing. Green beans are good for you. You think you deserve chicken. I stared down at my plate. Tears salted the bland beans. Later that night, I was washing dishes and passed Jesse's room. His pet rabbit was munching on fresh, bright carrot tops. I thought about the wilted, brown-edged beans on my plate. I wasn't even as good as his rabbit. That's when I learned. Nobody was gonna look out for me. Nobody cared about me but me. I kept my grades top 3 in the class. Always. One day after class, the guidance counselor called me into his office. With your scores. Capital Magnet's a stretch. You know that? I didn't follow. Capital Magnet was the best high school in the state. Downtown in the capital. Kids who went there ended up at Ivy League schools. He leaned forward, his voice all smooth and nice. What about Hollow Creek High? You be top of the class there. Easy. Guaranteed spot. Hollow Creek was the worst high school in the county. Barely anyone graduated on time, let alone got into college. No, I said. I'm not going there. His face turned cold. Suit yourself. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. I told Mima about it after school, while we planted garlic out by the porch. She cussed so loud the crows flew off the fence. No good. Money-grubbing bastard. Hollow Creek pays kickbacks for every kid they send over. That night, there was a fried egg on top of my chili. Next morning at the school gate, I saw Dad. He was dropping Jesse off. standing there talking to my guidance counselor. When he saw me, his face lit up like he'd won the lottery. July. Come here. My name's July. I didn't end up with some dumb boy-wish name like Wyatt or Jet. Not because my parents didn't want one. They just couldn't spell worth a damn. When the nurse at the hospital left Em alone to fill out the birth certificate, they scribbled and crossed out for 10 minutes trying to get the letters right. Finally gave up and wrote down the month I was born. July Carter. I'd never seen Dad smile at me like that. I knew something bad was coming. He grabbed my arm. Tight. Your counselor says if you sign up for Hollow Creek, they give us $300. Free money. Girl. I wrenched away. I'm not going. I'm going to Capital Magnet. The counselor shook his head. All smug. Told you. Kid's got her head in the clouds. Dad hated being made a fool of. Especially in front of other people. He slapped me right there. In front of everyone. Ungrateful little brat. Everything you got, clothes, food, school supplies, all comes out of my pocket. You go where I tell you. You want to drop out and flip burgers at the diner. Is that it? I can make that happen right now. Mom showed up then. All soft and soothing. July. Don't make your daddy mad. You ran off and stayed with Mima all those days. He was worried sick about you. Besides, what's a fancy high school gonna do for a girl? You're gonna get married and have babies anyway. Be a good girl. Okay. Mom'll find you a nice boy to take care of you. Dad's anger hurt. Sharp and hot. But Mom's words wrapped around my throat like a hand. Slow and suffocating. That was her idea of a future? Marry some guy. Cook and clean and have his babies. Just like her? No. No way. I wouldn't end up like her. I wouldn't. But they were all around me. Yelling and grabbing and talking over me. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see a way out. Then I heard it. A wail. Loud as a siren. Lord have mercy. What kind of monsters are you? Mima came hobbling up the walk. Cane swinging. Screaming at the top of her lungs. She charged right at Mom and Dad. Whacking at Em with her cane like they were stray dogs. You call yourselves parents. You gonna throw your own daughter in that trash school for $300? Everybody look. This here couple's selling their own kid to Hollow Creek High for $300. That's all their daughter's worth too, Em. My granddaughter's top of her class. She's gonna go to Capital Magnet and make something of herself. But these deadbeats and this no-good teacher want to ruin her life for a little cash. Y'all ask your own kids. Ask Em if their counselor's been pushing Em to go to Hollow Creek. They get paid for every kid they send. It's a scam. The whole crowd of parents at drop-off went quiet, then erupted. Everyone started grabbing their kids, asking questions. Turns out half of them had heard the same line from their counselors and been told not to tell their parents. What? The school's in cahoots with that place? My kid's not going there. I'm calling the school board. This is bribery. Hollow Creek's full of dropouts and drug heads. I'd homeschool before I send my kid there. It got loud. Real loud. The counselor tried to talk his way out of it. But the crowd was on him. The principal showed up. Then the cops came just to calm everyone down. After that, the school threw the counselor under the bus. Fired him that same day. Said he was acting on his own. Nobody ever tried to push Hollow Creek on anyone again. I stood there watching Mima swing that cane. And she looked 10 feet tall. Like she was holding up the whole sky for me. Every time Mom or Dad tried to argue back, Mima would drop to the ground, wailing about how her own daughter hated her. How Dad beat his kids and starved his daughter. They got so embarrassed they ran off and left me there. We got a new guidance counselor after that. Young woman. Just out of college. She liked me. Said I reminded her of herself when she was younger. July, she said. Life's got more mountains than just tests and bad parents. The farther you go, the smaller those mountains get. Keep walking. Don't look back. There's always higher ground ahead. I stared out the window at the sunset. I wondered how far you had to go before the mountains got small. Mom and Dad already felt like the biggest mountains in the world. What else was waiting for me up ahead? I took the entrance exam for Capital Magnet. Everyone said I was crazy, that a girl from the mountains couldn't get in. I got in. Capital Magna was all the way in the capital city, an hour's drive from home. That summer, Mima drove me into the city just to stand outside the front gates. We stood there a long time. "Read all you can," she said again. Like she always did. "Don't be stupid like your mama." I held her calloused hand. Is Mama stupid 'cause she didn't go to school? Mima shook her head. Her voice was bitter. Tired. No. She was stupid. So she quit school. Quit just to marry your no-good daddy. That's when I heard the whole story. Mima had sold the family's only pig just to pay for Mom's senior year of high school. But Mom ran off and married Dad before graduation. Bragged to Mima that school was useless. That she'd found a man to take care of her forever. Mima never went to her wedding. Never spoke to her much after that. All summer long, I got up before dawn with Mima. We picked vegetables from her garden and drove to the farmer's market in town to sell them. I saw Mom a few times, bringing Jessie in for breakfast or donuts. She looked right at me and walked past. Bought tomatoes from the lady at the next booth over. Just to snub Mima. Fine by me. I didn't want her money anyway. By the end of summer, I'd saved enough for lunch money and school supplies. But tuition was still out of reach. Mima squeezed my hand. Watch and learn. Girl, I'm only gonna show you this once. We drove to Mom and Dad's apartment complex. Mima marched right over to the front steps, sat down on the concrete, and started yelling at the top of her lungs. All the neighbors came out. She told them how she'd raised her daughter all by herself, how her daughter had thrown her out and never helped her, how she was old and sick and had no money for her granddaughter's school. Mom and Dad came running out, red as tomatoes, trying to get her to come inside and talk. But Mima wouldn't move, sat there yelling louder and louder. Finally, Dad caved, gave her the money for tuition. On the way home, Mom cornered me by the car. Her face was all tight and disappointed. That money was for Jesse's saxophone lessons. He could have been a great musician. Now look what you did. You're so selfish. July. I almost laughed. Mr. Carter from the music store hands out flyers at school. He tells every kid they're the next Mozart. I didn't care. I had the tuition money. That's all that mattered. Mima rambled the whole drive home. Proud as anything. Girl, you gotta learn to swallow your pride sometimes. I sit down there and yell for 5 minutes. And they hand over the cash just to shut me up. 'Cause they care more about what the neighbors think than anything else. Remember that. That day, I learned a whole new lesson. One they don't teach you in school. High school was nothing like middle school. Everything was harder, faster, bigger. The other girls were all pretty and put together. Got notes from boys in their lockers. I might as well have been invisible. I'd worked in the sun all summer, and my skin was dark as leather. The kids called me Mountain July behind my back. I didn't care. Words didn't hurt half as bad as Dad's fists. What scared me was the work. First month, I failed my first math test. My rank dropped from top 5 to 40th in my class. I wasn't smart like the other kids. I just had to work harder. School was the only way out. The only rope I had to climb. I studied every night, every weekend. By the end of first semester, I clawed my way up to 10th in the class. My math teacher praised me in front of everyone. I ran home that afternoon, ready to show Mima my report card. There were cars parked all up and down the road. A crowd of people stood in the yard. My stomach dropped. I dropped the report card and ran. Mom and Dad were there. So was Mrs. Henderson from next door. Mom saw me and marched right over, slapping me so hard I saw stars. "This is all your fault. If you hadn't made her work that stupid garden all summer, she'd still be alive. You killed her." July. The world went quiet. The crickets, the wind, the pain in my cheek, all of it stopped. The light went out. The mountain I'd been climbing fell down on top of me. I pushed past everyone and ran inside. I was too late. I never got to say goodbye. The neighbor lady pulled me aside later. She told us to make sure you kept studying. Don't you dare waste what she gave you. The second Mima died, Mom and Dad turned into the perfect grieving children. Dad greeted everyone at the door. All the sympathy money went straight into his pocket. Mom cried and wailed like the world was ending. But this was the same woman who'd walked right past her own mother at the farmer's market and wouldn't say a word. I watched all these people come and go. Watched everyone pretend they cared. Watched them laugh and eat potato salad at the reception like it was a party. Nobody was really sad. Nobody but me. Something snapped in me. I walked right up to Mom and slapped her. Hard as I could. The whole room went quiet. "What kind of daughter are you?" I yelled. "She sold her pig so you could finish school. And you ran off and got married. She sold vegetables at the market every weekend. And you bought from the lady next to her just to hurt her. You never cared about her when she was alive. What are you even crying for?" Mom stared at me, her hand on her cheek, hatred burning in her eyes. "Oh, so you're perfect now? You got into your fancy school. You think you're better than everyone? Just like her. Always looking down on me 'cause I didn't go to college. I'm not good enough for you. Huh? Not smart enough? Fine. See if I care." She turned and ran into the back room. For a second, I saw it. Under all that anger, there was shame. There was guilt. She knew she'd let her mom down. Knew she'd wasted everything Mima gave her. That's why she'd stayed away all those years. But crying after someone's dead doesn't count. It's just tears. Empty tears. After the funeral, Mom and Dad packed up Jessie and went home. Didn't even ask me to come. I stayed at Mima's house. Slept in her bed at night. Quiet as a ghost. You lose people. One by one. I'd lost the only person who ever cared about me. So I held on tighter to the only thing I had left, school. Second semester of freshman year. I applied for free and reduced lunch. Filled out all the forms. Told the counselor and the principal everything. Got up in front of the whole committee and told them my story. Laid out all my shame for everyone to see. Some kids stared. Some looked sorry. Some looked like they respected it. Breakfast was $1 for a biscuit. Lunch was $4 for the cheapest plate. Dinner I got free soup from the cafeteria. If I got there fast enough and my last class didn't run late. Most days, dinner was a gamble. Sometimes I'd find candy bars or granola bars in my locker. I knew the other girls were leaving them. Knew they were trying to help without making me feel bad. I never said anything, but I remembered. By the end of freshman year, I was first in my class. 97th in the whole grade. They moved me up to the honors track. There were 3 honors classes. The top 2 had 30 kids each. All geniuses. The third had 70. I squeezed in at number 68. Everything got harder again. Way harder. The teachers moved fast. Every sentence was a new formula. A new concept. I was slow. I couldn't keep up. So I skipped dinner 3 nights a week to study math. Stayed after class. Worked through every problem twice. One day, my math teacher kept us 20 minutes late to go over the test. Everyone else ran out to eat. I stayed at my desk, correcting my mistakes. I was so focused I didn't hear him walk over. "You missed a case here," he said, pointing at my paper. I jumped. He was famous for being mean, for yelling at kids who got things wrong. My face burned. I saw it right away. Stupid mistake. He didn't yell, just walked away. After that, it was like he noticed me. Called on me every class. Made me work problems on the board. The other kids said I was unlucky, but I was grateful. For the first time, someone was paying attention. Not out of pity, because they thought I could do better. By midterms, I was 30th in the class, 73rd in the grade. Summer came around. We only got a week off. Even with all the rules about summer school, all the girls in my class were planning a trip to Six Flags. They asked me, probably just to be nice, "You coming with us next week?" "July?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm going." The whole class perked up. "Hey, guys, July's coming to Six Flags. No one's allowed to study over break." "Okay, I'm working there," I said, dressed as the frog mascot. Everyone went quiet. On my first day of work, I snuck my friends into the new haunted house for free. Brought them back to the employee break room at noon when it was hottest, so they could sit in the AC. July. "This is the best day ever," the class president said, her face pressed up against the vent. I would have died out there. We're buying you boba, the lit rep said, shoving a drink into my hands. No arguments. It was 100 degrees outside, but my chest felt warm. I went back out after lunch, put the frog head back on, waved at kids, posed for photos. Mommy, I want a frog balloon. Okay, baby, whatever you want. Jess. I knew that voice. I kept my head down, held out the QR code for payment like I always did. Then I turned. It was Mom. And Jessie. Jessie was holding a giant frog balloon, wearing brand new shoes and a Six Flags hoodie. All the expensive stuff. I thought about how I'd called Dad 2 weeks before, asking for tuition money. Got no money for you, he'd said. You're so smart. You figure it out. Money was the only thing they had. The only way they could feel powerful over me. And I needed it. Bad. I don't know where I got the nerve. I ripped the frog head off, right there in the middle of the crowd, and dropped to my knees in front of them. Dad, please. I need money for tuition. Jessie's backpack cost more than my whole semester of books. Please. Just $1,400. That's all I need. Dad's face went bright red. Embarrassed. Angry. He started to yell. But I pulled out my student ID and my report card. Held them up for everyone to see. Look. I go to Capital Magnet. I'm top of my class. These are my parents right here. The crowd started murmuring. Can you believe that? Bringing the boy to the amusement park. Making the girl work in this heat. It's almost 100 degrees out here. In that costume. I'd never make my kid do that. If my daughter got into Capital Magnet, I'd work 3 jobs to pay for it. Here, kid. I'll buy 10 balloons. Me too. 5 of them. Everyone was talking. Mom and Dad couldn't yell at strangers. They couldn't hit me in front of all these people. They were always tough with me. Because I was theirs. Because they thought they owned me. But out here, in front of everyone, they were just 2 embarrassed nobodies. I grabbed onto Dad's jeans and kept yelling. I didn't care anymore. I'd already embarrassed myself. What was a little more? 30 minutes later, I walked away with $5,000 in cash. Don't ever come back. Dad had spat at me. You're not my daughter anymore. I went back to the break room. My friends were all sitting there quiet, like they didn't know what to say. I waved the stack of cash at them. Come on. Dinner's on me. We went to a barbecue place off the highway. I ordered $200 worth of ribs and fries and soda. Eat up. I said, this isn't my money. Not really. Get whatever you want. No one said anything. They just ate. That was the first time I'd ever had real barbecue. The first time I'd had money to spend on something that wasn't food or school supplies. I hadn't been born tough. I'd just had to be. Second semester of junior year. Something clicked. Everything got easier. I jumped to 20th in the whole grade. My counselor called me into her office. July, your scores are great. But if you want a shot at the Ivies, you should transfer to Class A, the top class. I didn't want to go. I liked my class. I knew everyone. It was safe. But I thought about what my old counselor had said. About mountains. You don't climb mountains by staying in the valley. So I said yes. Class A was terrifying. There was no difference between class and break. Nobody talked. Everyone either studied or slept for 10 minutes with their head on the desk. I sat down in the 5th row, by the window. My desk partner had his head down, asleep. If this was some dumb teen movie, I would have woken him up. He would have been mean to me. We would have fallen in love. This wasn't a movie. I pulled out my notebook and ignored him. Everyone in this room was competition. I wasn't going to waste time being nice. First period was math. The teacher was the best in the whole state. He handed me a custom worksheet before class even started. Had all my weak points marked out. All the problems I'd gotten wrong on past tests. Finish this before the end of class, he said. There were only 15 kids in the room. He had time for every single one of us. When I finished the worksheet, my desk partner woke up. He was good-looking. The kind of good-looking that stands out even in a room full of tired, pimply teenagers. What time is it? He mumbled. 6. I said. Shit. Did I sleep through first period? 6 p.m. I said, "It's first study hall." He blinked, then laughed. Quiet, like he was amused. Later. English class. The teacher passed out tests. New girl. Share with your partner. I don't have one either, he said, raising his hand. The teacher sighed. Okay. Share with the kid in front of you. Hey, Jude, how'd the math competition go? He just smiled. The kid in front of him turned around, grinning. Come on. Mr. Lawson over here kills every competition. You'll hear when we win state. Don't worry. So he was a competition kid. I stared down at my test. I'd only ever known one way out, the SAT, college applications. I didn't even know you could do all this other stuff. Competitions. Scholarships. Early admission. I was already tired just from the regular path. We shared the test paper. I worked through the problems in my head while the teacher talked. When I looked over, he was asleep again. Second study hall was math. I handed the test back to the kid in front. Dude, Jude's still jet-lagged from the competition, he said. Just keep it. Take all the notes you want. Thanks. I said. Everyone in Class A was the best of the best. Hard work only got you so far here. I asked the teachers for study tips. For extra work. Stayed late every night. By the next test, I was 13th in the class. 15th in the whole grade. My desk partner, Jude Lawson, was first. It's one thing to work hard and fail. It's another to watch someone show up half the time and beat you by 10 points. He was never even there. Always off at some competition. My counselor asked me once if I wanted to try competitions. I said no. Thank you. But I'm just gonna focus on the SAT and regular admissions. I couldn't afford to gamble. Not when I only had one shot. That whole semester, I climbed. Every test. Every quiz. I got a little better. The teachers gave me more work. Harder books. I did all of it. But no matter how hard I tried, I was always second. Jude Lawson was always first. Even when he missed 3 weeks of class for competitions. Dude, you two are tied at the hip, the kid in front of me said one day. I stared at the score sheet. 3 points between us. I don't want to be tied at the hip. I said, I want to beat him. I thought it'd take forever. I didn't expect it to happen so soon. Hey, you heading out? Jude slung his bag over one shoulder. He was handsome. And he knew it. And he was annoying about it. You miss me already? Shut up, the front row kid said. Lucky bastard. Getting in early. We're all stuck here for another year. Don't be sad. I'll come visit. His desk was almost empty. He left most of his old tests and worksheets for the janitor's kid to collect for recycling. But he pushed 2 heavy books across the desk toward me. A college dictionary and a thick computer science reference book. Don't need M anymore, he said. If you don't want M, throw M out. I hesitated for a second, then pulled them toward me. Thanks. No problem. He slung his backpack over his shoulder. For some reason, I said it. Good luck out there. I hope everything goes well for you. He turned back, grinned. That easy, confident grin. Congrats on finally getting first place. By the way, keep it up. And then he left. No big drama. Just another kid leaving class. Everyone went back to their books. On the next exam, I was number 1. Summer before senior year. I went back to work at Six Flags. $100 a day. Same spot by the cotton candy stand. I saw Dad again. He was all smiles this time. No yelling. No anger. Like we were old friends. July. Hey, kiddo. Why didn't you tell me you were having trouble with money? Your mom made your favorite dinner tonight. Come on home. Eat with us. I stood there in the frog costume. A good 6 inches taller than him. Thought you disowned me. Mr. Carter. What do you want? Dinner. Right. They always tried to lure you back with dinner. One nice meal. And then you owed M everything. He looked flustered. Like he hadn't expected me to call him out. Come on. We're family. You don't have to work out here in this heat. Come home. Say what you want. Or I'm leaving. He sighed. Rubbed the back of his neck. All fake humble. Look. Jesse's starting high school soon. His grades aren't great. I know boys take longer to catch up. But you're number one in your class, right? You could tutor him. Easy for you. There it was. You know what they say in economics? I said, you can't have both the value and the utility of a thing. Jesse was born with all the value just 'cause he's a boy. I had to work for every bit of utility I got. You want to have both? Dad blinked. He had no idea what I was talking about. What? One of us has to lose. I said, and it's not gonna be me. I turned and walked away. I heard him yelling behind me, calling me names, saying he was the reason I existed. I didn't look back. At lunch, I found a spot under a tree, took off the frog head, and ate the turkey sandwich I'd brought from home. Had a little cheese on it. Fancy. The park was full of laughing people, families, kids running around. All that happiness, right there in front of me. And I was just watching, like I was on the outside of a window. Then I saw him. Jude. He was by the carousel. A little girl was hanging off his leg, his little sister. Probably. His mom and dad stood next to them, taking pictures. The little girl begged him to ride the carousel with her. He laughed, picked her up, and sat her on a horse. His parents stood there smiling, taking photo after photo. I watched them for a long time. Smart, handsome, rich. Parents who loved him. He had everything. I had nothing. I felt ugly, small, jealous, like a bug hiding in the dark, staring at something I could never have. I stuffed the rest of the sandwich in my mouth, put the frog head back on, and went back to work. Senior year. Everyone said it was a war. Everyone fought for every point. But I stayed number one. Every test. Every quarter. Solid as a rock. The teachers checked on me all the time. The principal found out about my situation and started giving me $100 a week out of his own pocket. Eat something. July, he said. You can't be the best if you're running on empty. Nobody called me Mountain July anymore. I didn't work outside all summer anymore. My skin lightened up. My hair grew out. I wasn't the scruffy mountain kid anymore. Boys would walk past the window just to look in. I didn't like it. The staring made my skin crawl. I asked the teacher to move my seat to the back of the room, away from the window. One Monday, they made me speak at the assembly, the big back-to-school speech for all the underclassmen. I reached into my pocket for my notes. They were gone. I'd left M in my locker. I froze. I saw my counselor in the front row, panicking, waving her hands. And then I just calmed down. Hi, everyone. I said into the mic, I'm July Carter. From senior homeroom A. The whole gym went quiet. Then everyone started clapping. The freshmen were whispering. Whoa, that's the valedictorian. She's so cool. I waited for them to quiet down. I actually hate studying, I said. You could hear a pin drop. I saw the principal's eyes go wide. But I do it anyway, I said. Because grades aren't just numbers. They're choices. They're options. Right now, a lot of you might feel like you don't have any options. Like the road ahead is already set. But the more you learn, the more roads open up. The farther you go, the more choices you get. You hear all those stories about people dropping out and getting rich? Those are the exceptions, not the rule. Most of the time, the only way out is through. So study, not 'cause it's fun, 'cause it's yours. No one can take it from you. Work hard, and you'll get where you need to go. Even if it feels impossible right now. That's all I got. Thanks. I walked off the stage. The gym erupted in cheers. Nobody expected the top student to say she hated school. But everyone got it. After that, every time a kid slacked off, their teacher would say the same thing. July Carter hates studying too. And she's number one. What's your excuse? Senior year dragged on. Some nights, you'd hear someone crying quietly in the back of the library. We were all stretched thin. 1 week left until the SATs. Until applications were due. Until everything changed. One day after lunch, I walked out of the cafeteria and saw Mom standing by the front doors. She was holding a Tupperware container. She didn't walk toward me, just stood there, waiting for me to come to her. Like always. Like every fight we ever had. I was the one who had to apologize first. We stood there for a minute. People walking past us in a blur. The distance between us felt like a mile. This time, I didn't walk toward her. I turned and walked down the hallway, toward the stairs. As I rounded the corner, I heard her call my name. July. I kept walking. I'd had enough disappointment to last a lifetime. I wasn't going back. I heard the cafeteria was serving fried chicken that day. Drumsticks. I hoped there were some left. Test day came. I took it at my school. In a different classroom. The cafeteria gave out free breakfast. Free fruit. The lunch ladies heaped food onto my tray, asking if I wanted more. I sat down, took a deep breath, and opened the test booklet. Same as every practice test. Read each question carefully. Take your time. When the last section ended, I heard yelling in the hallway. Everyone cheering, laughing, crying. I'd done all I could. Now I just had to wait. That summer, I got a job tutoring middle school kids. $20 an hour. 2 hours a day. I usually stayed an extra half hour, just to make sure they got it. Score day came. I slept in until 8. I was gonna walk over to the library to use their computer, but someone banged on the door first. July. Open up. It's me. Miss Henderson. I spit toothpaste into the sink and ran to the door. A whole crowd of people poured into the yard. My counselor. The principal. Anne. Hey. Desk partner. Jude Lawson. Standing there in a nice button-down, looking like he belonged in a college brochure. I stood there in my ratty old pajamas. Toothpaste foam on my chin. Hair sticking up everywhere. Oh. Hell no. I slammed the door in their faces. 10 minutes later, I came back out. Jeans and a t-shirt on. Hair brushed. The college admissions guy from MIT was there. He talked a mile a minute, telling me about scholarships, about full tuition, about stipends for housing and books. I interrupted him. How'd you find this place? How'd you know about all this? Jude rubbed the back of his neck, looking guilty. We got your score first. We went to your parents' place first. Your dad talked our ears off. Said you didn't live there anymore. Asked around town until someone told us you were out here at your grandma's. I nodded. Yeah, I'm used to it. The admissions guy kept talking. Kept trying to sell me on the school. Kept pushing Jude to chat with me. Make me feel welcome. I'm terrible at small talk. Jude lasted about 10 minutes before he ran out of things to say. Hey, I said. I have a question. Shoot. What did I get? On the test? Everyone went quiet. The counselor opened her mouth, then closed it. Jude snickered. Perfect score. 1600, state valedictorian. You didn't check. The admissions guy laughed. You're taking this very well. Most kids scream or cry. Very poised. I blinked. I don't have a cell phone. And the library's not open yet. The guy's smile dropped right off his face. I picked MIT. Computer science. It felt like something I could build. Something mine. The admissions guy felt so bad he took me to Walmart and bought me a phone before they left. After everyone left, I walked up the hill to Mima's grave. I stood there a long time, looking out at the mountains. I made it out. I said. My picture hung up at the front of Capital Magnet for months. Dad started coming around the house every day, bringing groceries, asking how I was. Jesse came with him sometimes. Tried to be nice. Asked me about college. I didn't care. Every time I looked at him, I saw that $20 bill. I felt that slap on my face. After a while, he stopped coming. Then all the aunts and uncles started showing up, telling me I should make up with my parents, telling me Dad was heartbroken, that I was gonna leave him high and dry when he got old. I let him talk. Then Dad said he wanted to throw me a graduation party. Big one. At the nicest banquet hall in town. I said okay. The day of the party, the whole family showed up. All the relatives. All Dad's friends from work. Everyone kept coming up to Dad, congratulating him, telling him what a great job he'd done raising me, asking for his parenting secrets. Jesse came over, holding a soda. Congrats. July. MIT's crazy cool. Thanks. I said. I didn't drink the soda. He didn't push it. Halfway through dinner, the MC called me up to give a speech. I took the mic. Everyone smiled up at me, all proud. Hey, everyone. I know you all want to know how I did it. So I did it. So I'm going to tell you my secret to success. Pay attention. Okay. Number 1. When your little son steals $20 from the neighbors, blame your daughter first. Slap her around a few times. Teach her who's boss. Number 2. When she runs away, don't go looking for her. And when the bad high school offers you money to send her there, take it. Free money, right? Number 3. Don't pay her tuition. Make her figure it out on her own. Teach her the value of $1. Number 4. Make her get up at 4 a.m. every day to sell vegetables at the market. And when you see her there, walk right past her. Buy from the lady next door. Show her who's really in charge. The whole room went dead quiet. The MC's mouth was hanging open. Now, those 4 things you'll get her into a good high school, I said. But if you really want to push her over the top, you need number 5. Number 5. When the only person who ever cared about her dies, blame her for it. Tell her she killed her grandma. That'll really light a fire under her. Oh, and while you're at it, have a second kid. A boy. Give him everything. New clothes. Video games. Trips to the amusement park. Tell your daughter she doesn't deserve nice things. That always works. And hey, one last tip. Feed her the wilted, leftover vegetables nobody else wants. Tell her they're good for her. And give the fresh carrot tops to the family rabbit. Works like a charm. I set the mic down. Dad's face was purple. All the relatives were staring at their plates. I walked out of the banquet hall without looking back. Ruin the party? Yeah. Worth it? Absolutely. September. I moved to Cambridge. It felt like breathing fresh air for the first time. Jude was a sophomore then, studying finance at Sloan. He helped me move my stuff into the dorm. We hung out sometimes, studied together, got coffee. My roommates teased me nonstop. The Sloan Golden Boy is obsessed with you. Second semester of sophomore year. He called me up, all dramatic, saying he had nobody to go hiking with, that he was gonna die of boredom. Jude, I said, do you like me? There was a loud thud on the other end of the line. Then the call cut out. That night, someone banged on my dorm room door. July, come here. You gotta see this. I went to the window. Down on the quad, Jude was standing there with a huge bouquet of sunflowers, waving like an idiot, grinning up at me like he'd just won the lottery. After I got my undergrad degree, Jude started his own company with seed money from his parents. I stayed at MIT for my master's in computer science. By the time I graduated, his company was taking off. He bought a 3-bedroom condo, put it in both our names. I studied for a year after that, took the civil service exam, and got a job with the federal government in DC. Cybersecurity. Stable. Steady. Mine. His parents flew out to DC to take us out to dinner to celebrate. It was pouring rain outside. I sat there at the table, listening to them laugh, watching Jude hold my hand under the table. And I couldn't believe it. All that happiness. And it was mine. First year of marriage. He complained I didn't love him enough. What do you want me to do? I asked. He wrapped his arms around me from behind, rested his chin on my shoulder. Think about me all the time. Let me take care of you. I leaned back against him. I don't have anyone else. Of course I depend on you. He lit up like a Christmas tree. Spent the whole day following me around like a big puppy. Second year of marriage. We went back to his parents' place for Christmas. I was pregnant. Jude and his parents fussed over me nonstop. We were gonna drive, but they booked first-class plane tickets instead. I rested my hand on my stomach, looking down at the clouds below us. Baby, I thought, I picked a good dad for you. I'm gonna love you so much. You're never gonna have to wonder if you're wanted. It's a good life. Worth living. We landed, and his parents picked us up at the airport. They had snacks, pillows, everything. His little sister Lila was in high school now. July, you're still a legend at Capital Magnet, she said. No one's gotten a perfect score since. I can't believe my brother married the actual school legend. Jude fake gasped from the front seat. Hello? I'm also a legend. Where's my praise? Legend of stealing my snack packs. Maybe, Lila said. Everyone laughed. The next day, we drove out to Mima's house. The yard was overgrown with weeds. The house was empty. Quiet. I was too pregnant to walk up the hill to the grave. So Jude went up for me. He brought flowers. Lit a candle. Hey, Mima, he said. Quiet. July got her master's. She's got a great job. I'm taking care of her. I promise. She's okay now. On the way back down the mountain, we ran into them. Dad, Mom, Jesse. They were coming up the hill. Flowers in their hands. They froze when they saw us. Dad tried to smile, then dropped his eyes. He looked old. Way older than he should have. Tired. I found out later he'd been going through chemo. Lung cancer. Jesse looked different. Almost grown. He'd ended up at Hollow Creek High, not Capital Magnet. I didn't say anything. Jude held my arm and we walked past them. Not a word exchanged. When we got back to the car, there was a red envelope tucked under the windshield wiper. Inside was a $20 bill. And a scrap of paper. Messy teenage handwriting. I'm sorry. I stared at that $20 bill for a long time. All those old memories. All that hurt, it didn't sting anymore. It was just old. Jude got in the driver's seat. Looked over at me. You okay? I nodded. I put the 20 in my wallet. Yeah, I said. Let's go home. We pulled out of the driveway, heading back toward the highway, toward the city, toward our life. The sun was bright ahead of us. A new day, a new start.